Hi, I'm Sally and this is the tutorial for my apple tree design. You will need green bands for the leaves, some brown bands for the trunk if you want to put the trunk on, and some red bands depending on how many apples you want on your tree. So let's make a start. So first we're going to start by making the bits that go around the edge. So I'm going to take a single band, we're just going to place it so it just hangs over this end pin, and now we're basically just going to make a starburst. So I'll go slowly in case you don't know how to do this. So we're using two bands together and we're going round in a hexagon shape. So I'll show you half of the hexagon so you know how big to do it. Okay, and we're going to do the exact same here, like so. So you have your hexagon, two bands all around, and now we're going to do the centre. We're going to do this just using single bands. So from the centre we're going to go straight up to the top, and then we're just going to work round, going from the centre and out to each of the pins in our hexagon. And this will make a star, although to me it looks more like a flower than a star, but that's where it gets its name from. So it should look like this. I'm going to place a cap band on the centre pin, so a single band wrapped around 3 times, like that. Now depending on how many apples you want on each one, I've done normally around 3 or 4 on each starburst, each circle. So if you take as many as you're going to want, I'm going to do 4. So you're just taking a single red band, taking your hook, and you're just going to wrap it around your hook 3 times. So it looks like this. And I'm going to do the same again with the other 3 bands and just leave them on my hook. And these are going to be added in as we loop the starburst. That noise in the background, which I'm sure you can hear, is my guinea pig having a drink. So there we go, I've got 4 bands on my hook. So now we're going to begin to loop, and there's no set place you need to put these wrap bands, you just put them wherever you want to have them. So I'm going to go in through the cap band in the centre, I'm going to find the first band, which I believe is there, and you're just looping out. So you're going in through the cap band, finding the top band, and then looping out to whichever pin it's come from. So in this one I'm going to add one of the wrap bands, so I'm taking the next top band, and then while this band is still on my hook, before I place it on the pin, I'm going to put this band here over this band. So like so, and then I'm going to loop it over like that, and then back in through the cap band, just taking the top band and adding the wrap bands wherever you want them to go. I'm going to add another one at the top here. So again, you take the band on your hook, take your wrapped band and just slide it over the end of your hook and onto the band, and then hook it round. So now we're going to do the outside of the starburst. So if you laid it out the same way as me and you started on the top pin, the first pin you'll need to go through to loop up will be the top pin. If not, it will be whichever pin you started from. And you're taking the 2 top bands and you're bringing them around and you're looping them back onto whichever pin they've come from. And then you're doing the same, and you're just working your way through. So then you're onto the next pin, and then each pin, just taking the bottom 2 bands, looping forward. Now on this one I'm going to add another wrapped band. My hook's got caught on other bands. So I've got the 2 bands on my hook. I'm going to slide down one of these red wrapped bands over those 2 bands, and then I'm going to hook it like so, and then I'm just going to continue to loop forward. I'm only going to put 3 apples on this bit, I think. Okay, so once it's all looped up like this with whatever many apples you want on it, we're going to tie it off. So taking this band here, you're going in through the top of this top pin here, pulling it round, taking both ends on your hook and then pulling the top one over, pulling it tight, and once it's tied off it's secure and you can remove it. And here you have one part of your apple tree with the little apples on it. Last thing we will need to do is taking your hook, go through a couple of the bottom bands, and then so you're going sort of straight up like so, and we're just going to hide this tying off band. So you just take it around your hook and you're pulling the band and threading it through. I'm going to do that again because it's just going to pop out otherwise. Okay, so there we go. So that's what you should have. You will need 6 of these in total. So if you pause the video, make another 5. I've already made my 5. And then we will continue to make our apple tree. So if you place your little starburst to one side, we're going to make one last starburst. So I'm going to use double bands this time at the top, and then I'm going round and I'm making a starburst again. And I'm guessing by now you know how to make a starburst because you've just made 6. Although this one will be slightly different, but basically it's the same. It's still a starburst. Like so. So we've done the hexagon shape. Single bands from the centre to the outside pegs. So just working around. I'm working anti-clockwise. Although I'm guessing on the camera it looks like I'm going clockwise because it's mirrored. It mirrors what I'm doing, it's a bit annoying. And again, cap band in the middle. Oh, that just unravelled, so I'm just going to do it again. There we go. Now, I am going to place probably 3, I'm going to do it on alternate bands in the centre but not on the outside. So I'm going to I've still got 1 from where I did my starburst before, so I'm going to add in, just going to have another 2 ready to place on as I go. He's having a really good drink, isn't he? Noisy little so-and-so. So there are 3 bands there, they're sort of bunched up a bit, but so there's my 3 little apples ready. And we're going to take the starburst that we've made, find a point, so you can just take 2 of the bands from underneath. I like to stretch it out and see where I think is the sort of least rounded side, and I use that. But just take 2 bands, whether it's from underneath or wherever. You can include the tying off band in this if you wish, just to keep it tucked out of the way. And we're just going to place it just over the pin, like so. We're going to do exactly the same for the other 5. So just find wherever you want to add it on, and then just place it over the pin. So mine's sort of near where I've tied it off. It doesn't matter which order you place them on, as long as they all go on. It's quite an easy design, but I think it's quite effective as well. So it should look like this once you've added them all on each pin. And now we're going to begin to loop. So it's basically the same as we've done for these. So just going to go in through the cap band, find the top band and loop it forwards, and I'm going to add on alternate bands and apple. So I'm going to put it on this one. Oops. And loop forwards, and then the next single band and loop it out. The next single band, I'm going to add an apple. Sorry if my hand is completely in the way. The band's got caught. There we go. So just looping that forward, and then the next one, just leaving that as it is. And then the next band, I'm going to add an apple. And then the last one is going to be left as it is, like that. Now we're going to go around the outside, which you should know how to do. Just go on the inside of these add-on bits, because otherwise they're not going to catch in. And I've just dropped that, so I'm just going to reclaim that band by going through the pin, through all the bands, and then just hooking it back on itself like so. There are a fair few bands on these pins and they do try and jump off. So I'm just going to loop these. I'm not adding any apples onto these. You can if you wish to. But I'm going to leave mine plain. So just manoeuvre these if you need to. So you're just looping forward the bottom two, same as we have done on these 6. And once you're all looped up like so, you can tie it off. So finding the 2 bands that you have around here, I'm going to place the hook down, push it all back and tie this off. Just do it to the side so that you don't go across this top part. And pull. And once you've done that, you can remove it. And this is the top of our tree, as you've probably gathered. Like so, and if you added apples on the outside, you won't have a ring here, you'll have it'll be more blended in. So it looks a bit like a flower. So there's our apple tree. I'm going to tuck these 2 tying off bands in the back. So same as we have done, so just taking the hook straight through, taking the bands and pulling them through. That's them out of the way and tidy. And now we're going to make our, sorry you can't see, our trunk. So using brown bands, unless you want to do a different coloured trunk. Taking 3 bands at a time. So I've got 3 brown bands and I'm just putting them like this. So I'm going to go all the way down to the end of my loom with this. I've only got 3 there. Thought I had 4 there for a second. 2 and 3. So just going all the way down. You don't have to do this as an apple tree. You could do it as an orange tree and use orange bands. A lemon tree, you should use yellow bands. So it hasn't got to be an apple. Any kind of tree you like. You could even do the bands purple and have it as a plum tree. Or a peach tree, apricot tree, kiwi tree. I'm going to stop naming fruit trees now. One more, you could do it as a cherry tree. Do anything really. Hasn't even got to be a fruit tree, it could be an oak tree. Do acorns on it if you wanted to. Do anything. Possibilities are endless. Well, until you run out of trees to do anyway. So, I'll start waffling. So I've gone all the way down with brown bands, going 3 at a time, all the way down to the end of my loom. I'm going to take, dropped it. I'm going to take the top of my tree. I'm going to take my hook and take some of the bands. I'm going to use 2 bands on one side. We're going to add on 2 lots eventually, but for now we're just going to do the one. And you're going to place this like a cat band, over the end of the loom, and so that you can see. So it's like this, and then I'm going to loop forwards all of those 3 bands that are on there, the brown bands. This is at a really awkward angle as well, like so. And then I'm going to take another 2 opposite the ones we've just done, so they could be any, but I think I'm going to do those on the outside there, and I'm going to pull them down and I'm going to place them over the next pin across. So you can see, I don't know how I'm supposed to show you. So as you can see, hopefully, the green one here that's looped in, and I've added another 2 bands over the next pin here. And now I'm going to loop this one up as well, and then that will secure the top of the tree in it. So now you can let that go, and that's all fixed in. And now you can continue to loop all the way up to the end. So looping up 3 bands at a time. I think I need to make myself another hook cover. This one's getting a little bit tatty, but I love the colours, so I'm a little bit reluctant to swap it, because I don't have any of these bands left anymore. Maybe it's time for a change. We'll see. So once you've looped up the trunk, we're going to tie it off this end here. So just taking either 1 or 2, I'm going to use 2 for a little bit of extra security. I'm going to take my hook, I keep swapping hooks, sorry, out through the top of the pin and out the side. Place the 1 or 2 bands, or how many you're using to tie it off, over the end of the hook. Pull it tight and hopefully pull it through and bring it around the back of the hook. Place the ends so they're both on. This is not very easy because I'm showing you against a round table, so I'll try and do it against my hand so it's a bit easier. So there, if you can see, taking the top bands and taking them over the end of your hook, and this will create a slip knot. Pull it tight and then you can remove it. So I'm just going to pull this off. Interesting. And then that's fine. And then we're just going to tuck these bands away as we have done previously. So just taking your hook inside some of the stitches on the trunk and pulling these tying off bands through, and then you can just repeat that as you need to hide it. So there we go, there's your apple tree. So I hope you've enjoyed making this. Just try and prop it up here so you can still see it. That works quite nicely. There we go. So I hope you've enjoyed making your tree, whatever kind of tree you decided to do. Please like and subscribe. Let me know what you think of this design and of the tutorial, and also hit subscribe so you will be notified of when I bring out new tutorials, which at the moment I'm working quite hard to get on a few, sort of every other day, every couple of days. So there'll always be something new on there for you to look at and make. I'm on Instagram and on YouTube, so you can find me on there at Sally's Looming. So please follow, and I do follow back. And you can share pictures of your finished creations of this or any of the other designs that I have on my channel. You can make any comments you want to on there, or make any requests. The same on Facebook. If you search if you search Sally's Looming, all one word, and you'll find my group on there. And again, you can share pictures, make requests, and make comments. Or alternatively, you can just comment under this video with whatever you want to say, or anything you'd like me to make for you, if I can. Anyway is good, they'll all get to me, so it's entirely up to you, whatever's easiest. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.